Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm excited to be jumping into this specific part of this talk. And it's all about attitude, and it's all about our character. I really want to take you guys behind the scenes because you've heard a little bit of my story, exactly of the battles, the adversities, the struggles, the shortcomings that I had, and how I was able to begin to face my fears, begin to face some of the challenges, taking off my mask, and to begin to really get some traction where dreams and goals that I had began to not just be dreams and goals off in the distance, but I began moving towards them. And so I really want to take you behind the scenes right here on these two words specifically. Your attitude and your character will be two of the most powerful parts of your journey that will bring so much success. And here's what I mean by that, guys. Listen, I'm not the most gifted communicator. I'm not the most business savvy. I don't have all the ins and the outs. I'm not the most educated. I don't have all the letters and the numbers behind my name per se, what I could say. But this is what I've really learned is this, that my attitude and how I perceive things and having a positive mindset and seeing the glass half full and not half empty, literally having that thought process of just that positive energy and knowing that no matter what, I'm going to do all that I can to succeed. And truthfully, it's not about perfection and I'm shooting for perfection, but it's really about progress. And if I can wake up every single day and have that positive outlook on life and have that positive energy with the people that I'm meeting and the spaces that I'm trying to get to and in those mission fields and in those career centers and in that lifestyle, my attitude will carry me so far, and also my character. And so those two words are what we're going to hopefully laser focus in on because it will do so much for your benefit and your success in life. How you treat people matters. You having some personal characteristics like responsibility and integrity and honor, but also being positive. Now I get it. Now everything isn't always lollipops and candy canes and everything's picture perfect. No, we're going to face adversity, but I've learned the most that I can always see the cup half full and not the cup half empty. Man, it does so much for my mental space and it gives me that ability to take one more step. Taking you really back to the beginning of my journey, when I was literally going to prison facing those 15 years, I did something that forever changed my life. I wrote the words, literally, change the world, and I slapped them and I put them on that bathroom mirror. And every single day I woke up, and even though I was in the midst of challenging times and my circumstances didn't look the greatest and I was nowhere near what my goal was to become an inspirational, motivational speaker to impact a world that was just where I believed in people. Like I wasn't there. I was at square one, literally in prison. But when I wrote those words, change the world, what I did have control of was me. What I did have the ability to spend time on was my willingness to look in the mirror and to be open and to be honest and take extreme ownership of my life. And so what I'm going to challenge all of you through with this series is this. You see, I want to challenge you for maybe the first time in a long time, and maybe some of you already do this, is to begin to be extremely honest and blunt with yourself. I promise you, I'm going to give you some keys. I'm going to give you some insight that whatever your space, your dream, your goal is, that what you're wanting to achieve, the objectives that you're wanting to begin to accomplish, I promise you, even though we may be in different boats and that even though we may have different goals. The sauce, the secret sauce, the keys, the things that I've learned to do, they're universal. And if you will begin to apply these, it's going to work. I promise you. And so step one of all of that is extreme ownership. You have got to be open and honest with yourself. And so my challenge to all of you as we go through some of these talks is for you to get your own pen and your own piece of paper. Wait a minute, Nate, you don't have the workbook? You don't have the already pre-written questions? Nope, because I want you. I can't make you. I can't force feed you anything. It's the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Listen to me, guys. I can share my heart with all of you, but until any of you really find that fire and that passion deep down inside of you, you're never going to get the traction and experience the success that you want. And this is what I normally would say. See, Nate Harmon, and there's many other communicators out there that can motivate you. You can find a lot of motivating factors, but here's the problem with motivation. Motivation takes motion. Motivation takes movement. Motivation is outside of you. And if you're only depending and you're only looking for everybody to help motivate you, what are you going to do when you're all by yourself? What are you going to do when you don't have these external factors constantly poking and prodding and pushing you? See, it's all about this self-regulation, this ability for you to look in the mirror and say, you know what? Even though I don't have every external factor pushing me, I have my own dreams. I have my own internal fire. See, I'm not about motivation. I don't want to just motivate you. I hope to inspire you because inspiration's inside of you. Inspiration's internal. And when nothing else is around you and it's just you, you have the place and you have the ferocity and the tenacity to push through. And so you're right, the workbook's not there, but I want you to get your own paper. I want you to get your own pencil. I want you to write your own notes. I want you to be thought provocative and do critical thinking in your own space. I want you to be honest with your own life. It's called self-regulation. It's extreme ownership, y'all. And that's the step one that I had to take when I was in prison. It was me in the mirror. And I had these words, change the world. That's where I wanted to go. And how I got there was simply this, one step at a time. Hard work works. But it started with my character and my attitude. Because what I didn't know then with having the education or the operating systems of how whatever my dream and goal worked, because I didn't have the knowledge at the beginning, what I did have was my ability to be positive. What I did have was my ability to have a great attitude around people, to listen, to be invested, to be willing to allow others to speak into our lives. You see, our attitude as we're beginning to launch off into pursuing becoming the better us is this. We don't have to recreate the wheel. And here's what I'm saying. I'm not talking out both sides of my head here. I know I told you that you can't depend on everybody else's motivation, but you have to have your own inspiration. But we do need mentors. We do need people who can speak into our life. And this is what is important about that. Are you willing to learn? Are we willing in this generation to allow others to help us walk this path? There's no reason to work harder, but let's work smarter. But don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that you don't need to work hard. It's going to be a grind. You're going to have to work hard. But what I'm saying is you can also allow people to help you. One of my favorite quotes is this: we can go fast alone. You'll probably burn out. Or we can go farther and accomplish more together. Let that sink in. You can go fast alone. And for the most of the times, you're probably going to burn out because you can only hold it all together by yourself for so long. Eventually, you're going to hit a wall. Eventually, you're going to get to a place where you don't have the knowledge. Eventually, you're going to get to a place where you can't solve the problem. You don't have the keys. You don't have the formula, but you won't allow anybody to walk alongside of you. And eventually, that pressure, it can bust that pipe. You can go fast alone, but I've learned we can go so much farther together. It's all about our attitude. It's all about having a willingness to learn, to have that spirit of humility. Those are characteristics. You see, something that a generation in our society is losing, it's called respect. And this is what I mean about respecting people and being willing to allow others to speak into your life. It's okay to not have it all figured out. It's okay to say you messed up. It's okay to not have it all picture perfect. It's about the progress. It's about the journey, y'all. You're going to hear me talk a lot about the journey. Your whole pursuit of becoming the best you and leaving your fingerprints on history, it's going to be a journey. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have some times you went left when you should have turned right, but are you willing to learn, and are you willing to allow people to speak into your life? Our attitude and our character is everything. One of the quotes that I heard when I was coming up as a communicator was this: your gifts and your talents, they can take you so far. They will open up doors for you. Some of you have raw talent, your academical ability to process. You are smart, you are gifted. Things come easy, doors are opening for you. Some of you, maybe it's sports or it's that space that things come easy and doors are opening for you. The truth is, your gifts, your raw talents, they will open doors for you. They will put you on platforms. They will put you in front of people to win, to thrive, to be successful. The problem is, if your character isn't matched up and walking in step with your gifts and your talents can open doors for you that your character can't keep you. Because if you don't know how to respect people, if you're not willing to be punctual and understanding being on time is important, if you're not willing to allow people to speak into your life, if you're always having an attitude and seeing the life and seeing the world through this negative mindset where people don't want to be around you, again, your character will be one of the quickest ways that you find yourself falling and not reaching your full potential. See, respect is a huge tool. And this is how I did it, guys. This is me looking in the mirror and saying, I'm willing to learn. I'm going to look at the world positive. I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to get down on myself when I make mistakes. I want to be teachable. I want to work on respect. These parts of me, right? This is something, to me, it's a secret that's helped me when I got serious and took that extreme ownership. It's called respecting other people. And here's why. Because your dreams and your goals, they're not going to be spoon-fed to you. It's going to take work. You're going to have to respect that dream, that goal. Respecting something means you're willing to give it your time, your attention, your focus. And if you think for 1 second you can flip a light switch on and learn to respect a dream, something that's invisible, something that you're working towards. I hope you get the picture what I'm laying out here. Your dreams and your goals, the thing that you're working towards, they're not actual yet. You haven't arrived. You're in the pursuit of them. And if you think that you can flip a magic light switch on and learn to respect something that's not tangible, you got another thing coming. If the core of who you are is disrespect, if the core of who you are unhealthy habits of being lazy, if the core of who you are is that you're negative and you're pessimistic all the time, listen to me, how you treat people matters. And so what I've learned that word respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, respect is one of the most powerful tools to get started in the pursuit of becoming the better you is so important. Because the more I learn to respect my friends, my family, my mentors, the people around me, it's teaching me how to respect my dreams and my goals that I'm pursuing. Hear me on that. When I respect physical people, when I respect physical positions of power, teachers, educators, mentors, when I respect people, it's subconsciously teaching me how to respect that dream. And I hope you're hearing me. The reason why respecting people is so amazing, and it's going to teach you and help you more than you could even imagine, is because when I respect physical people, it's teaching me to respect that dream, that goal. Attitude and character are everything. It can be challenging sometimes in the midst of where do you even begin to pursue these maybe larger than life dreams and goals. But that's what I want you to do. I want you to pursue these larger than life dreams and goals. And I want you not to be afraid of failing. We're gonna make mistakes. And yes, it's important to have short-term goals that lead into your long-term goals and moving one step in front of the other and going together with a community of people. Like I stand on those principles, but I don't want you to minimalize your dreams or minimalize your goals or minimalize the things that you want to accomplish. I promise you, those fingertips, I want you to look at your fingertips. These are unique to you. You're one of a kind. And what that means is that you're one of a kind and that these fingertips, the ones that you have, I promise you, they were meant and you were born to leave those on history, to leave a lasting legacy with people, to leave a lasting impact on whatever it is that you put your hand, your heart, your mind, and your body into. But your character and attitude, they really do matter. I used to be a really negative person. I used to be somebody who would always compare myself to anybody and everybody else around me. And I would always see what everybody else was doing, and I never thought that I was going to be able to accomplish or achieve those things. Maybe some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I was willing to stand in that mirror that said change the world, and I was willing to take that extreme ownership, and I was willing to be bluntly, painfully honest with myself and my shortcomings. My attitude from when my parents got divorced all the way up to really to when I was 23, it was always so negative and the cup half empty. It's also because I was bitter and I was angry at my father. One of the biggest mistakes that I made as a kid growing up and all the way up through my teenage years to my early 20s is I allowed that thing that I couldn't control to control me. And when I began to look at that mirror change the world, and I began to be honest with myself and to began to want to keep a promise to the Owens family was not to let Priscilla die for nothing and to make the world a better place. Man, that attitude that I had, I knew I had to be willing to change it. And I know, I hear you, Nate, this is just who I am. I'm kind of a pessimist. I'm a cup half empty kind of guy. I'm a cup half empty kind of person. I hear you, but you don't have to be. You can control your thoughts and your actions because what you think about will grow. And so the more you're focused and the more you're committed to this extreme ownership, and I get it, y'all, it's painful. It's painful being bluntly honest with yourself. I don't care what mask you can put on and let everybody else know you. And when you get to the place where you don't care what they think and you're going to be this blunt and this painfully honest with yourself about your attitude and your character, my challenge to some of you watching this right now, what are some of the areas that you know your character and your attitude, there are some deficiencies and there are some defects and there are some areas that you know you need to work on? And don't just sit there and say, I don't know. No, I want you to take some time when this is over, and you're not going to have to show these to anybody. You're not going to have to turn these in. This is your own personal paper. This is your own personal pen. But will you write and say and be honest with yourself on the areas in your life that you know you need to change? For me, one of the most painful ones that I had to change, I had to let some things go. If a family could forgive me for taking the life of their daughter, I realized that the anger and the hate and the rage that I had towards my dad for not being there, you know what it was doing? It wasn't poisoning anybody but one person, me. My attitude towards that situation, it wasn't poisoning anybody but who? Me. See, my dad, when I was young, he abandoned me. And for so many years, I blamed him for everything. And my anger and my rage and my negativity, do you think it was controlling him? No, but I was allowing those things and those feelings to live rent-free in my head. You can't allow how others treat you. You can't allow the situations in your journey and your story to live rent-free in your head. And so all this anger and this rage and this frustration that I had towards my father, it was poisoning one thing and one thing only, me. And so I had to let it go. For some of you watching this again, and I'm telling you, these are just some of these passing points that I'm talking about, that if you will dive deep on a personal, mental, and emotional, truthful level with yourself, it's going to begin to unlock some things so that river of creativity, that river of amazing potential, that river of your ability to face these fears, these struggles, these things directly face to face and begin to be successful and gain traction. Guys, attitude and character is a baseline to your success. Before the head smarts, before your physical ability to play sports and what your gifts and your talents are, those are there. They're natural. But your character and your attitude, those things don't come natural. They take effort. They take work. They take intentional action to be better. They take humility and being honest when you are sometimes critical or rude or ugly or negative, of humbling yourself and forgiving yourself, but also allowing the people around you to know that you're sorry and allowing those people to hold you accountable. So guys, what I'm really saying through all of this talk right now about attitude and character is that those parts of your journey that will be some of the most important baseline foundation stuff for your ultimate success. Attitude and character, they don't always come natural. How you treat people is an intentional act to be kind and to love people. Working on your responsibility, your punctuation, working on those characteristics of extreme ownership, those things take work. They take commitment. They take that internal inspiration. And so the number one step for us as you begin to dive deep into reaching your ultimate potential, into navigating these storms and these challenges, because besides just your dreams and your goals, I know there are so many other factors that so many of us are dealing with when it comes to mental health, when it comes to the pressure of society, of fitting in. There's so many other things that, man, if we don't have a great foundation, it's going to be so easy for us to see the cup half empty and not half full. But those don't come natural. Your gifts, your skill set, oh, you got that. But this part of attitude and character, they take work. Painful, vulnerable, transparent work. But here's the thing, y'all. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Because when it's all said and done, this is your life. This is your legacy. This is your journey. It's your story. So I challenge you to be so blunt with yourself, to be so honest, and to call out your shortcomings, allow others to help you, and continue to put one foot in front of the other. This was really step one for me, guys. When I wrote Change the World on the wall, I realized that I was going to have to start taking control of my life, letting some things go, and really get to a space of working on my attitude. It won't be perfect. We make mistakes. I make a lot. My team would tell you that all the time. But I'm willing to keep on trying because giving up isn't an option. I love you guys.